Welcome back to the Bus Lane podcast.
I tell you what, like he's really painting the picture there, like pretty nicely, eh? Like we knew $15 million seemed a bit ridiculous for the bus lane, but then when he put it into context, like, hey, we got a stadium for pretty much a similar amount
And
those years back.
What money will get you has changed a wee bit, but still,
He's doing it very nicely.
He's doing it nicely for effect.
Yeah, he's doing it very politely.
The rate players paid 15, got 10, got this, paid 12, got the velodrome. It was
New Zealand's only indoor velodrome.
Yeah. And now we're going to get
anyway.
a pointless bus lane for 15 million.
I can tell you what, there won't be one Southlander on those buses, mate. Well, there might be.
Can't wait to rip into that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
But no, I pulled out this Old Invercargill book. Picked it up on Tribune. I don't know why, it just caught my eye. And it is a trip. Holy moly. Have you seen Invercargill? Invercargill used to be splendid.
It did, eh? He showed me, I remember looking at a few of those pictures you showed me. And man, the way, what it used to be, you can just kind of recognise the blocks and the streets. They had those buildings like...
If you strain your neck.
If you strain your neck. It was incredible, those old photos. It almost looks like, hey, that's not real, you know?
Yeah.
That wasn't there.
It looks like a place you would turn to your spouse and say, when we travel one day, we need to go to that place.
Yeah.
Look at it.
The corner, the crescent there.
Oh,
the old crescent.
The old crescent.
I encourage anyone to look up and find photos of the old crescent, what it was back in it'd be 1900s when it was probably peaking. I reckon.
Yeah.
It is incredible. Like, looks like ancient Rome, almost the front of it. Like, it was like it was almost castle-like.
Oh.
It was just, and it was, God, it was grand. It was, and then, I think little India place in there, the restaurant in there, they've done very well with the front. They've kept that facade all nice and the colour scheme, and that looks bloody nice. But, I mean, the rest of it has got a lot to answer for, I reckon. What they've done on the front of that over the last 100 years, or whenever they started that, is God's sake, just look at it.
Yeah, well, sometimes you go to even Dunedin or some other places, and when you leave, you feel like you've got a sense of the historical town. In Invercargill, you've got to work a bit harder. You've got to go. Well, it's there when you look. You can see the remnants of these old buildings, but it's almost like there's been a growth come up and sort of a virus spread over them, and they're hidden back.
It's not really celebrated.
No,
hey, it's not really like, and it should, from what it was. My God, if they'd have kept like that, this town would be known for its historic buildings and stuff, as would probably a lot of towns.
Yeah.
But I mean,
there's a generation, I guess, of couple before us that, when they were decaying and before the new ones, I don't know when that was, 1950s or...
Yeah, I suppose it probably came down to when maintenance would need done on stuff. They'd be like, and those craftsmen aren't around anymore to do that stuff, so it would end up being like a guy would be fixing it up that wasn't... And the money wasn't there. They didn't want to put money into these old buildings because they thought they were just old, and then they'd just demolish them. They've demolished so much.
That image of a guy on top of one of those buildings... How the fuck do I do this? That's something I want to talk about, boy, which is this generational amnesia, which can take place where skills and traditions and things that we can forget how to do if they're not passed on, if there's no need for them. I think a lot of it happens when we invent new technology or new, more efficient ways of doing things, and a certain skill or something becomes quite specialised, and over time it just becomes more and more specialised, and then it sometimes just gets extinct.
Yeah, and then the roll-on effect is, oh shit, now we can't keep up with certain things, we're missing that certain trade altogether. They've just lost a piece of that. I'm thinking back to the buildings, like that. They've obviously, it was cheaper for them to just not to bowl them and build new ones, or that was the agenda at the time. But
yeah. Yeah, like how many blacksmiths do you know now, boy?
Not one. not one blacksmith, actually. All that stuff, that stuff's well gone, but it's such a cool, blacksmithing's cool, eh? I follow a few blacksmiths, And man, they're pretty wicked, the stuff they do, and it's old school, the old apron, big leather apron on, and the working around the furnaces and beating metal to bits,
Yeah. Well, as per last week's episode, boys obviously have a soft spot for craftsmanship and things that take a bit longer but that have attention to detail and certain qualities that can't be made on a machine. But,
oh no, we sure do, mate.
I was thinking about other things, like there's so many, Let's think about something as simple as calligraphy, handwriting. Everyone used to be able to handwrite beautifully.
Yeah.
And
That's going out the door. That's pretty well at half. That's well out the door, isn't it, almost?
wow.
Are they even teaching that at school these days?
Both our wahine are pretty adept at it, but they were taught by their grandmother.
Their grandmother, she was really good,
Yeah.
You get a card from her and, you're like, oh, God, look at the writing there, you weren't even reading it. You're just looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is,
Just the little things. As you say, well, you're a keyboard. Most people are typing now. Like, writing isn't as essential. It's not the only way to communicate. And
it's a long way. I mean, how many people are writing shit down? I mean, small notes I find easier to write, and just you can scribble it out with your pencil real quick, and cross it out real quick. Things
something
like
magic about it, just coming straight from brain to paper, though. I don't know. There's something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Invercargill was, man, I encourage people to go and look at some photos and stuff of the old Invercargill, and just, it's honestly magnificent, man. It's really, really cool. Like the amount of detail they went into, on the facades of these buildings, and all the wee bits, and even on the tops they had these wee balls with like they were a castle, all these wee things. And then we've just decided at some point we don't like that cool shit. We like boring fucking shit to look at. And I think we're kind of realising, I'm realising.
I looked up a couple of things that have been lost. There were some interesting ones, The papyrus scripts that the Egyptians, used to write.
The what scripts?
Papyrus,
Papyrus.
There's a papyrus tree in Egypt, and the old scripts with the hieroglyphics and stuff on them. They don't know how they made that paper now from the papyrus tree. They can't figure out how they made it.
What, the paper from it?
Yeah, the paper they used to use to write on, these aren't things we need now, but the other interesting one was Roman concrete. The Roman concrete mix, like things like the not the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and it's lasted thousands of years, and they're like, this concrete is something else.
They can't break it.
They can't figure out
what they put in
the
it.
mix was. Japanese swords, like there's this period of Japanese swords where the craftsmanship, they just don't know how they did it. Like there's stuff that just dies out. It's like species.
They're still making those Japanese swords, though.
Oh, not the way they used to.
I think they're getting pretty. I think they're pretty close, aren't they? Maybe.
We'll be back.
I could be wrong. I do remember watching quite a few things on.
Yeah, well.
I'd forgotten it all, but I do remember that there's still a few guys making them, but there's one or two. And hey, they might be made different. The steel might not be exactly how they did it. Maybe they're just trying to replicate it as good as they can, kind of thing. But yeah, that concrete one's interesting. They can't figure out what's in it. Like why it's still.
Yeah, you have to follow up on that. Just give you just enough there.
Alrighty.
I'll tell you a big one for me in particular, but probably for more than me. Navigation. How many people out there are like purely reliant on Google Maps for navigating now?
Fuck, I am.
Yeah. And like, you're going back, this is a generational thing where I guess you go back a wee bit and people are using maps. But you go back further and further, and people don't really have maps. They're using, they're reading the stars and they're reading the winds and.
Well, even the explorers, they didn't really have. Well, they would have had maps, not the early ones, but they're reading stars through those wee things and
landmarks and winds and. Like, there's a connection there with the physical earth.
It goes to show how fucking great humans can be, But technology makes it easier, and also would make us lazy in that area too.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't have the navigation maps, the navigation that we have now, we'd be probably a bit more attuned to where we are and where we're going, and
It's like those technological breakthroughs are fine and they're good as long as we go, well, that's taken a load off, so now we can put our time better towards what? towards fucking, what are we doing with our goddamn time?
No shit, eh? And all this money, this wasted money and stuff. The fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
So much fuckery going on.
There is so much fuckery. The other thing that's been lost in all of this is folklore, folk traditions, myth. Those old stories, they play an important role. They have played an important role for years. They pass down wisdom and they teach lessons and teach how to be. And I think there's a phase there where organised religion, big religious institutes turned into something else. They morphed into something else, and they became about a lot more than the teachings and the spirituality. They became intertwined with state and became big, powerful entities. But at the core of all myth and all religion are the same kind of values being taught in different ways. And it feels like in modern capitalist society, it's like, well, we've detethered, in the Western world anyway, we've detethered a wee bit from religion. The church isn't as strong as it was in our society.
Definitely not, no.
And what have we replaced it with in terms of how to live?
Yeah.
I feel that there's been this weird sense that it's just the pursuit of money. It's just like
pretty much
material, climbing the ladder, material wealth, or celebrity are the ways to enlightenment and happiness.
And it's just, the world's just too fucking greedy. They've been greedy for a long time, eh? It feels like it's getting worse. It doesn't seem like people are getting less greedy. It seems like the people with money just want more money. You know? The people with no money just want money. I mean, you do need it.
Money's a complicated fucking. I mean, right, part 2, the economy. I was looking at the GDP the other day, and the national debt. I don't understand it.
Nah.
But it's.
I'm not a numbers fucking guy, you know.
I feel like it's warping a lot of minds and taking them away from what really matters. What really matters, which is the people and
the land.
The land.
The people, you look after the land, you look after the people. I mean, when you look after the people will look after the land.
Let's pivot to the role of art, because what aesthetic beauty does, because you're talking about those buildings. When you go and look at them, when you actually pay attention to that stuff, it's kind of like, look at what people can do. Look at this beauty we're surrounding ourselves with. It's elevating. We're trying to match nature. Nature's undefeated, but but whatever one's opinions are about all of the world's religions, some of the art and buildings and what would you call them? Tributes that have been built in the name of God, they will stop you in your track when you go and see them. They are something else. I don't know what's going on with them, but it's people building for something other than money. It's people building in the name of,
God. God.
Yeah.
The Richardson Group, they've done they've built that on the block there, their tower.
Yeah.
They've actually kept it the same shape. The facade and it wraps around the corner because it's on the corner.
Yeah.
They've kept that, I think, identical shape as what the old building was.
Yeah.
But it's got an extra fucking 5 or 6 stories on it. And a lot of the detail's gone from the front of it, but they've sort of kept it. They haven't just built a big flash, big glass, black box. Like a lot of towers you see, they've taken that into consideration, you know, the historic values of that building, and sort of pretty much mimicked it and just built it right up, I reckon.
I don't know any of the powers that be there personally, but they clearly have a bit of a love for history. You know, they've opened these 2 museums. It's probably largely slanted towards automotive history, but it's still they've got an eye for the past.
I didn't I read something the other day that's one of the main tourist attractions.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
It was in Savvy's thing.
Was it New Zealand or was it?
No, well, there's
obviously it's going to be in Invercargill, but like
there was Savvy posted, the editor from the New Zealand Herald was doing a road trip around New Zealand, and he was visiting everywhere, and he hit up Savvy asking for a couple of leads, and Savvy said, I was pleasantly surprised when he got back and did his recap, on his blog and all that, and he gave his favourite things, and his best city was Invercargill, and
we're up there,
and he had the truck museum as the best tourist attraction, and Fat Bastard Pies is the best pies. So we got 3 medals.
They are good. They're good pies.
3 medals. Yeah, no,
I haven't actually gone around the truck museum yet. I don't know why. It's fucking been open for ages.
I haven't either, boy.
I mean, I do like that shit for sure, but I don't know. Maybe I might.
We'll do it.
All right,
we'll do it.
Hello.
Logan!
Hiya!
How's it going?
How was the ballet, mate?
No, I didn't go to the ballet tonight.
What?
No, I didn't feature there.
I thought you were trying to be a bit more cultural, mate.
I am, but I'm a cricket nerd and there's cricket on. So I've got to, yeah.
Biggest hypocrite. Nah, it's all right. No, my mum took the girls along tonight, actually. They were heading along to that tonight. Hansel and Gretel, wasn't it?
Oh, nice.
It was, yes, yeah.
Is it the New Zealand Royal?
It is, yes.
Oh, nice. I went to one of them a few years back. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Oh, no, it's the old thing, isn't it? As we discussed the other night, if you actually give things a try, it's not...
Yeah. I used to get dragged along. Mum used to drag me along to a few of those because my younger sister was into ballet. So we'd always, when the Royal Ballet was coming to town, I'd probably been to 3 or 4 of them.
Fuck, that would have been like dragging Bart Simpson along as a kid.
As long as I got a wee pack of tangy fruits on the way in, mate, I was happy as.
Yeah.
You weren't throwing them, were you?
Oh, well, I was rolling them down somewhere, for sure.
Amazing how quiet everyone can be.
Yeah. So we've got a figure on the bus lane.
Yeah, tentative figure, but it's quite a large figure.
Outrageous figure, mate. An outrageous figure.
What is it? How much is it?
Yeah, well, it's not just the bus lane, but I mean...
Yeah, the surroundings is at the bottom. The lower east... Sorry, the lower east street.
As well as the sort of paving walking place, but it does seem a horrendous amount for what we get from it. But again, these are estimated figures, but even...
Who's estimating these figures?
Well, they've said they've got quantity surveys, but seems a wee bit... well, I would have thought it was a little high. So they did Don Annis Street for about 20 million, which seems a lot of money to me as well, but that's come up quite good. But I mean, I would be surprised when it comes to it. So they come back with design work now, and then they'll get a better idea from that with costing. But I mean, I would have thought that if it come back as actually that 15 million's right, there'd have to be some discussion around that figure, I would have thought.
I would think so. I'm with you on that one.
15 million for a bus lane, that, when you're trying to lower rates, wasn't that part of Nobby's whole thing? Keep the rates down? It doesn't actually seem... It's hard to gauge, again, our whole public perception thing, but everything I've seen online around this bus lane has been people anti it. I haven't run into someone who's like, a bus lane sounds like a good idea through there, to be fair.
Yeah. So my sort of take is I wasn't one of those that was against them bowling over Walking Place because I don't have really a strong connection too much.
I don't think many do, mate. Yeah.
But then I also don't think that we really. There's probably is it really something that we need to be spending that much amount of money on at the moment?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like right now, do we need to be spending that right now? I mean, the hotel's not even built yet. That's what it's for, right? And then I'm sort of piecing it together a bit here. So down the other end of Esk Street, there's the old council building which developers have been looking at and talking with Nobby about, and that's possible because the ICC are looking to move out of there and go somewhere else, and that would possibly be turning into apartment/hotel or something as well. So then would that bus lane connect? Would that go right through S Street?
Has there been talk of the council operating in a kind of moving office scenario where they're on a bus that's moving?
Yeah, there's a lot of
sort of like Speed, the movie Speed, where it can't stop.
Yeah, we've got to make this more exciting, and so we're. Yeah, well, I don't know about because I think effectively the bus lane is only there to get the people through the millions of tour buses that we're apparently going to get now. That there's a hotel there, so they don't have to get dropped off on Leven Street and walk a wee bit and get wet.
You know, I think we should pay the 15 million for that. You know, I mean, it makes sense.
Get out of here, mate. To that point, wasn't there also? Didn't they try and satiate the bloodlust by saying, no, you know, relax. The tour bus will only be going down there twice a day.
Yeah, well, very minimal is basically, a few times, which is sort of backs up the argument, well, is it really necessary?
Oh, I would have thought that, yeah.
That's the question, I think. That there needs to be a discussion around that, I think, Savvy, you're right. There needs to be, like, is it really necessary? Is there a plan that we don't know about why they're bringing that through? Or if it's just for that, I mean, seems a little ridiculous to me.
Well, I can see why they would maybe potentially wanted to open that right up with the hotel there. But now that they've almost had this compromise where because originally one of the plans was obviously just bowl the whole thing and open it up as the buses through. But now there's a sort of compromise where they're going to keep the clock there, and the bus is going to go in, if you can picture what the place, and open it up in beside there. But it sort of seems a wee bit like.
I think that's going to be more. That's going to add more expense. I mean, it's good that they're thinking of keeping the clock there, the 1989 clock.
Real historic.
Very.
To be fair, though, it seems like you're going, right, we're going to do something, you know, we're going to spend a bit of money on walking the place. Oh, yeah, what are you going to do? We're going to put a wee road down it.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting for your money.
I feel like they don't really know what they want to do with the place and how they're going to kind of do it. You probably could get a bus lane through there. Maybe get another few quotes.
I feel like Nobby knows exactly what he's doing, and that's because there was a shady deal leading into the election where this guy put $14.99 behind each of the candidates.
there's some money. I couldn't possibly comment. I think we can confidently say that there's obviously been discussions with the developer and with the council.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious.
That's a given. It's always a given there.
And I guess the council or the councillors that supported it are saying that they think that they should support private investment.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think they should. They need to support these guys bringing money into the town, and you know, for one, that they get a lot of jobs. Hopefully, they're sort of using local building team. By the looks of that one, they are a lot of local guys I've seen in there.
So I guess in some ways you just commend them that they support them, but you just got to keep coming back and ask, is it the best investment for rate?
Yeah, like he comes into the town, he builds a $15 million hotel, and we give him a $15 million bus lane for it. I mean, I'm just trying to figure that. I don't know how much that hotel costs.
I just keep circling back to the why that they need dropped off at they can go around the other side. I don't understand.
They can fucking walk, boy.
No, there's already a road going to that hotel. You just got to drive. You can drive past and go, here's the city of the town, guys, and now we're just going around here, and here's the drop off.
They obviously can't drive the bus in through Leven Street because the bus couldn't turn around. But you can drop them off at the street, and is it really that big a deal having to walk from the street to the hotel entrance? I don't know.
I don't think the tourists would give a fuck, to be fair. And if they wasn't there, they wouldn't know it wasn't there. They'd be like, you're not going to get a tourist sitting in that hotel and going, fuck, wish they'd fucking fuck that clock off so we could quickly get through the
You go
unit.
to some hotels, they have a wee concierge come out with he's driving a wee thing, he gets all the bags on and he takes them back
Do you know
up
what?
to the...
Yeah,
Do you know what? Do you know what? I've already had a couple of ideas on what we could do to get the bus over
The city
or
can't
around.
handle any more tunnels. Bro.
No, hang on, no, this is not a tunnel. This is a good one. This is a good one. Hear me out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Kingston Flyer, but when that would come back from its trip, they obviously didn't. You couldn't do a U-turn in a train, so the train came in and they'd put it on the turntable, right? And in Kingston, it was a manual turntable. There was two big sleepers hanging out the side. And I remember as kids, because we used to go on holiday up in Kingston there. And Russell would come. We would know when the train needed turned, and we'd go over and help them push the train around the track. But what if we had just a $1 million turntable, where the bus comes in and boom, it turns around, boom, and then it pokes it straight back out onto 11th Street.
Get a bit of manual in there. Like,
Hey, the tourists can stay on it for that kind of for the adventure of the spin, if they want.
We've got obsessed with convenience, I mean, I don't want to bring up parking on Esk Street again, but we've become obsessed with convenience. Like the turntable, they go, no, we need to make that automatic somehow. We don't want people
fucking make it
pushing.
automatic. Look at the technology we've got. I mean, I like the manual option.
The manual's
I
great.
like the manual option. It wouldn't be feasible.
We
for
could
our
be
hotel.
full-time guys that turn it. But you and Savvy, we're out there. We'll do a bit of...
Oh, we're gonna another bus in. We're gonna another bus in.
I like that idea.
Savvy, bus ahoy! Savvy!
Yeah, quite a unique sort of tourist attraction. Look, let's just hope that it's not going to cost $15 million. But even half of it is still a fair old whack.
I'll tell you what, I go back to an earlier point. This sort of thing, if they're going to spend $15 million, and if the town is kind of all sort of secretly going, that seems stupid. It seems like we should have some kind of app or something that it goes out as a referendum in the modern age, which is like, everyone get this app on your phone. It's a very rigid, solid, virus-protected Invercargill City Council thing. We're going to put this out. Vote yes or no as to whether you think...
Yeah, you couldn't ask for comments because then you're not going to read 50,000 comments. Who's going to be reading that stuff? So like a tick box kind of thing. Do you think this is a good idea? Yes or no?
If you can't download the app, if you're a bit older, you can come in on one day. They have a day set out where you can come in and cast your vote or something. And
well, they certainly do need something to get, if they want to get more people engaged.
If they want.
Well, I think they probably do, but yeah. Well, when I say they, I'm talking about the council staff, probably more than the people that are in charge of actually trying to gather the feedback. But that does sound like quite a good idea.
Well, otherwise, because with the submissions, if you genuinely were really passionate about something, unless you're going to turn up with 20,000 people, what do you do? Do you turn up with something with signatures and kind of go, look, I've got a whole lot of signatures? Like, how do they actually try and hear the demands of the town?
Where's the democracy here?
Well, they do. They do put it out publicly and ask for submissions. But the problem is, if you're not actually looking in those places, then it's not. And I've covered a lot of these submission things, and it's the same people that, a lot of the time, the same people that turn up, and
who turns up?
Can we have a list?
Can we have a list? Fucking troopers,
Yeah, there's some passionate people out there, but the theory is from some of the councillors is that if there's not a whole heap of outrage, people coming in and submitting, then obviously they're not too worried. But I don't know that is necessarily the.
I don't think. I think there's a lot of issues that people are ambivalent enough about, but sort of. That's a big step to find a time in your day to go in and type up a submission and all of that. You're probably more likely going to get a lot of people grumbling about it and grumbling about their rates, but going.
Yeah, and maybe to be honest, and this could be fault of the media, there wasn't enough pointed out the fact that before or through the consultation process that this was being earmarked as $15 million, because maybe people that weren't that worried about walking the place getting bowled over, but if they knew it was going to be costing 15 million, they would have been going, hang on.
Hang on.
No, I
here.
don't. What I will say is a part of that is to lower Air Street, and there's it sounds like the Jeff Thompson developer is going to contribute to that. So
As he should,
but,
I would have thought. You don't know what they're doing with the opposite the hotel there, you know, where the actual old East Street West is. There was people living down there at some point. It's pretty cool wee buildings through there. On the right, as you say, you're heading through Wachna Place, and then...
I'm trying to picture where you're talking about. Through...
You say you're walking through Wachna Place, you walk on under the clock, or through the wee alleyway there, you got the hotel they're doing on the left, and then on the right, there's wee buildings sort of just along there.
They've been knocked over.
Hey!
If I'm thinking of the right ones that you're talking about,
You could be right. I think you are right.
Yeah. No, I think because the council own them and they're absolutely stuffed by the end.
But they were cool. It wouldn't take much to sort them.
And they got bolt. So they're part of the whole complex. I think car parking and.
Oh, is that part of the hotel?
Pave paradise, put up a parking.
Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba.
Get some more car parks.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
I should point out he's also developing accommodation around that area, which is probably a wise idea for staff accommodation.
That's a good
idea.
idea.
Because obviously the hospitality sector is pretty hard to find staff, but if you've got accommodation,
and it goes back to the city living, the inner city living.
Exactly. You know how passionate they are about that.
I tell you what they should do at the hotel. They should let Southlanders just rent rooms in there. That's inner city living, and then we can ride the buses around. They can drop us off to work, and
Imagine being picked up by that frantic council bus where they're all trying to work and What else was in the Tribune this week? I enjoyed the actually today I just read the Southland's first marathon one. That was great. A wee bit of history.
Was that today?
New Zealand's first marathon, actually. That's crazy.
In Southland.
Riverton to Invercargill, New Zealand's first marathon. Am I right?
She can go further than that. It's the first one in the Southern Hemisphere, and
hey, we'll take
and
that.
and the second in the world, I think.
Fuck! If only we had a museum.
Yeah,
they're working on it. They've got the storage facility there.
Has been too long to be fair.
It has been a while.
It's good to see some movement.
Yeah.
The best thing about that story, I thought, is that they stopped for a couple of shots of brandy on the way.
That's
awesome. And the winners knocked it out, and
that would warm the bellies.
It was the middle of winter too. They did it in July.
Oh, they'd need the brandy,
on gravel roads, and he's knocked it out. The winners knocked it out. And remember, this is the first ever marathon in New Zealand. The winners knocked it out in just over 3 hours on gravel roads and stopping from nips of brandy. So he's done pretty well.
What year was it? What year was it again?
1909, I think. Fuck. Yeah, no, something like that.
The town would have been looking immaculate as well, boy.
Yeah. Oh, and they finished at Rugby Park, and the whole town turned out supposedly to.
Shit, how old's Rugby Park?
Yeah, I was just thinking, has that always been there?
Yeah. It's quite. I don't know what the when it was first built.
Do your job, mate.
Yeah.
No, that was a great wee piece, and there was lots of wee colourful details in there, like. The other one where the crowd burst into a big rapturous cheer when the lead guy came around the corner, but it wasn't the lead guy; it was some company with a sale banner.
Running advertisements.
Yeah. That's showing a bit of initiative early on.
That's more marketing ingenuity than I've seen around the town in a while.
That's right. They're ahead of the game.
I bet you his business flourished. I tell you what.
Yeah.
He was strung up and walking the place shortly afterwards.
Actual strung up. Were they doing hangings there, boy? Jesus Christ. Let's bowl the place. Put a bus through it.
It seems to have created a bit more discussion than probably initially a lot of people thought. But
I think you're right. I feel like I've sort of talked too much on it. But I mean, it's how's it really? Oh, we're not.